Today we are very happy to present my good friend Steve Sutton. Steve is serving as Interim Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Steve's previous positions as Assistant Vice Chancellor for Residential and Student Services Programs and Executive Director of the Office of Development demonstrates Steve's commitment and dedication to engaging, developing, and helping Berkeley students. So please, welcome Steve Sutton.
Thank you, David, and thank you to Cal Parents for the chance to be with you tonight. Thank you to each of you that are out there for joining us. I've had the good pleasure and privilege to work with college students for about 30 years now, 13 of those years here at UC Berkeley. And one of the things I enjoy most is being able to talk to parents, address questions that you have. So please send those questions out. The first question is, and we're going to jump right into the questions here from Dan in Portland, Oregon. Are new students guaranteed housing? We do have a commitment to guaranteeing housing for all first-year students, both freshmen as well as transfers. It's a focus of our program, and it's really important for us to be able to provide them that soft landing here at UC Berkeley. We know this is a very vibrant and dynamic campus community, and we find that being able to provide students with a spot in the residence halls is most crucial to their success as a first-year student and helping them transition successfully into our campus community. From Rita in Oakland, my student is a vegan and I want to know what options she will have to eat in the residence halls. We offer a variety of options in our campus dining. Students have the opportunity to eat on campus in campus restaurants as well as in the residence halls. We provide a variety of options for students. We actually have a dietitian that works with Cal Dining to help students that may have specific dietary demands. We also have a new kosher station that we just opened up recently in Cafe 3. We also offer vegan options as well. So it's really important for us, again, as we focus on helping students transition effectively to UC Berkeley to provide them as many options as possible. Not only do we want to provide them a safe and clean living environment, but also provide them with healthy options in terms of their dining and their food as well. Next question. This is from Steve in Seattle. What is the process for a student who is having an unhealthy, combative relationship with a roommate and wants to transfer rooms? One of the interesting dynamics, I think, about first-year students living on campus is that many of them may not have had a roommate before. Many of them, part of the transition to becoming a new student at Berkeley is learning to live in community with somebody different than them. I think this is one of the beauties of the things that we offer in the residence halls. Sometimes students do have roommate conflicts or challenges with their roommates. We have a variety of options for assisting them with this. The best place to start is for a student to reach out to his or her RA, resident assistant. These are undergraduate students that are trained extensively to build community in the residence halls. They work very closely with each and every student. They actually have structured check-ins with their students. Most of our RAs have about 45 to 50 residents that they're responsible for. They also then work closely and are supervised by resident directors. These are professional live-in staff members, folks that have master's degrees in higher education administration that actually supervise the resident assistants. They work closely with the RAs to build that community and help the RAs manage conflicts that might arise. If the conflict can't be resolved with the RA, then the resident director will get involved. We also have other campus resources that we will call upon to assist students in need. And ultimately, if we determine it's not a positive fit for the roommate, we do have the opportunity to transfer students to other locations within our larger portfolio. We have about 7,500 first-year students that live with us, and so we have options where we can assist students in roommate transfers. Next question. There's a question from Facebook. What are options for housing after my first year? Do I continue in the residence halls or dorms? Unfortunately, most of our housing is really dedicated to first-year students. We have approximately 350 beds available for continuing students, or students that are sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We do assist students in finding rooms beyond the residence halls after their first year. We have a unit in the Cal Housing Office called Cal Rentals. This is a free service for students. Students can sign up with Cal Rentals and talk with the Cal Rentals staff. They are on the second floor of the Residential and Student Services building, which is right next to Crossroads. The staff there will talk to students about their preferences in terms of what kind of room do they want. Do they have other students that they want to live with? They'll help match them with other students. They'll talk with them about their budget and how they'll manage their budget living off campus. They also will provide students with a listing of possible locations close to campus. We also offer a housing fair in the spring. We're still determining what that date's going to be for this year's housing fair, but it's an opportunity for students to come to the Student Center and be able to work with the staff directly to try to assist them in their housing needs for the coming year. So we offer a lot of support for students because we know that it's a challenge. Many students will begin thinking about what they were going to do next year, their sophomore year and beyond, in early spring. The next question is talk about Stiles Hall housing and how it is coming in the near future. We actually refer to this as Bancroft Hall. This is something that's at the corner of Bancroft and Dana. It's right across the street from the RSF. It's actually going to begin breaking ground here very soon, either in December or January. That project will take until the fall of 2018. It has 775 beds. It's through a campus, through a partnership with an organization called American Campus Communities. This is an organization that specializes in building residence halls across the country. They've worked with many different campuses, both large and small. So this is a partnership that we're very much excited about. We will have a resident assistants in that building. We also will have a resident director that lives in that building, as well as a resident faculty member. So currently we have 6 resident faculty that these are full-time tenure-track faculty members that actually work on campus, teach classes, but they also live with the students as well. And we find that this is a really positive thing for our students in terms of giving them the opportunity to work directly with faculty members, see faculty outside the classroom, really helps in terms of that educational experience. And we will have one of those that lives in Bancroft Hall as well. Next question comes from Kirsten in Dana Point. Do current freshman students have guaranteed housing for their sophomore year? If so, when is the timeline to apply for fall of 2017? This is similar to the question that I fielded earlier. We don't have guaranteed housing for students in their sophomore, junior, or senior year. Students can apply for housing their sophomore year. That deadline will be in early February, and then they will find out within a month or 6 weeks in terms of if they will be offered a contract for their sophomore year. If not, then they can work with our Cal Housing Unit and Cal Rentals to find a location for their following year. Next question is from Tracy from Kansas City. Is there any effort being made through emails or some such communication to further involve students with career counseling other than just telling them about it at CalSO? Our career counseling center is very active in terms of working with the staff in the residence halls as well as other student leaders on campus to raise awareness of career counseling. Even though we house mostly first-year students and transfers, students are encouraged to begin thinking right away when they come to campus about career services. And there are ways to connect with them. Again, reaching out to one's RA is a great place to start because RAs will connect students directly with the staff in the career services. Also, too, if they find that there's a critical mass of other students on the floor or in that living community that want to learn more about the Career Center, then they will actually create a program by which they will take students to the Career Center or have somebody from the Career Center come into the residence halls and do a more in-depth program. It is something that is important for students. Many of our students go on to professional schools or graduate schools, and many of them choose to jump into the job market after they graduate. So it's something that we try to support students from the very beginning of their arrival here at Cal. From Kim in Fresno, I'd like to know, when is the best time to look for an apartment for the second year, 2017-2018? Is now too early to look into an apartment? Will the school advise students when to look into an apartment? Again, the answer is yes. A lot of concern, I know, about what to do that next year. I think that that is a to-do list item that one should put at the top of their to-do list when they come back for classes, come back to campus in the spring. Again, going to the Cal Rentals unit, which is on the second floor of the Residential and Student Services building, right next to Crossroads, is the place students should start. From Chris in San Mateo, is there a new orientation? If so, how will it work in conjunction with move-in? We're very excited about our new Golden Bear orientation. This is a brand new model for us here at Cal. This will be launched next fall. It's a partnership between Academic Affairs, and so it's part of the undergraduate initiative. We're collaborating, Student Affairs is collaborating with the undergraduate initiative as well as many, many offices from across campus to implement this new model. Essentially what we're doing is, instead of having students come during the summer for 2 days for a CalSO orientation, we're actually bringing all new students in 1 week before classes start. So students will have the opportunity to move into the residence halls earlier than they typically do. They'll be here for this full week long worth of academic advising, team building, community building, ways to try, a lot of ways created to try to create positive community for our students. And this is something that we're very excited about. Students, all of our students will have a chance to move in the residence halls that week early and participate in this exciting new program. It's called Golden Bear Orientation, or GBO. The next question is from Sarah in the UK. For international students, if orientation is earlier than the stated move-in date, do these students move in early? This next year we won't have early move-ins because all of our students are going to come in at the same time. This is partly to address the issues that are expressed in this question in terms of international students needing to come in early or out-of-state students need to come in early. They all come in, move in at the same time, and then their specific orientation for international students will be structured as part of that week-long set of activities I just described a moment ago. The next question is from Jim in Texas. I'm the parent of a freshman who's struggling. I think he's suffering from increasingly serious anxiety and maybe depression. I don't know who to talk to. I've tried to get him to go see a counselor, but so far I've not had any luck. How do I get him to connect with somebody on campus, and who can reach out to him? This is a very important issue. One of the things that we are most concerned about, and one of the things we closely monitor, is how well our students are doing emotionally, physically, mentally. These are issues that the RAs are trained extensively on in terms of how to recognize those signs of stress, those signs of depression, those signs of maybe anxiety. And it's not uncommon for first-year students to experience this. This is something that is fairly typical of first-year students. Not every student experiences it, but many students experience it. We have strategies to connect students with more formal interventions like counseling in the counseling center. We also do activities in the halls like group stress reduction exercises. This is particularly a tenuous time of the semester because students are heading into the Thanksgiving break. Many of them may that they know that the fall term is close to ending. They know they've got a lot of work ahead of them in terms of their studying for finals. And so this is something that we pay particular attention to. There are a lot of interventions and strategies that we use to help students deal with things such as stress. I would say to you as parents, the best thing you can do is encourage your students to reach out to their RA and just be honest with their RA. Let them know how they're feeling because it's not a totally unique experience that they're having. Chances are that there's somebody else, perhaps even their roommate, that may be feeling the same way. And so we have strategies to deal with that. And I encourage you to encourage your students to reach out to somebody as soon as they can so we can provide them the support that they need. A question from Eva on Facebook. There seems to be a rodent infestation in Stern Hall. I want to know how this is being addressed, if the problem is being taken seriously. I'm concerned about the health implications. This is something that my team has been working on. This is something that will come up every so often. The team has jumped right on this. They've worked very closely with our campus partners to make sure we're addressing this issue. We have a team of staff from Environmental Health and Safety that we work very closely with when issues like this might arise, and I can assure you it's being addressed. From Martha from San Diego, my son is a transfer student and missed the deadline for student housing. Is there any housing available? If your son is looking for housing for this spring semester, we are still making housing assignments. So I would encourage you to encourage him to reach out to the Cal Housing Office as soon as possible to see if we can find a spot for him for the spring semester. Next question is from Joseph in New Jersey. How do I pay my students' bills? I remember in the summer that I couldn't find the bill. When will I see a bill for fall semester? We have a unit called Cal Student Central that is able to assist students with a variety of different issues such as billing and payment service questions, financial aid questions, and other types of issues. I would encourage you to encourage your student to go to Cal Student Central. If they do not see their bill on their CARS account, it should be there for the spring term. I'm not clear exactly on what the exact date is, but there should be information on the Cal Student Central website that could answer that question for you specifically. At this time I'd like to talk a little bit about just in general what we do in student affairs and how that works for students. We know that the lives of students are multifaceted. We have lots of different services and programs within the Division of Student Affairs to assist students with all aspects of their college experience. Many of the questions that you've sent in this evening have touched on some of those areas like career services, the residence halls, the counseling center. We also have a Dean of Students office that is concerned about student leadership development. The Public Service Center also provides students an opportunity or a venue by which to volunteer in the campus community and beyond. We have service learning courses where students actually can do community service and get credit for the classes that they're enrolled in. We have also a communications unit, a business unit, a finance part of what we do. We're a large organization. A big part of what we try to do, one of our mantras, is we really want to help students thrive, not just survive. Being at Berkeley, with it being such a big place, with a very strong campus community and strong culture, we know that it's easy sometimes for students to lose their way. And our job in student affairs is to provide them a grounding for their college experience and provide them the support and encouragement that they need. We have staff that are highly trained from the RAs all the way up to the highest levels of our administration that are there to encourage students. We spend a lot of time just trying to stay in touch with students about their student experience. I, for example, get a chance to work with students almost each and every day in my work life. I actually had lunch today with the president of our Residence Hall Association. This is our student leadership organization, essentially our student government in the residence halls, asking Anna about how her experience is, what she's hearing from students, what she's seeing in her classes. And it's really important for us in student affairs to really stay in touch in order for us to be able to provide that balance with students, because it's not only the endeavors that they have in the classroom, but it's also the endeavors outside the classroom. We want students to be both academically and socially engaged with the campus community. We have over 1,000 clubs and organizations, so there's a lot of ways for students to get engaged, a lot of ways for students to get involved. Part of our job is trying to help them connect in a way that they would find most stimulating for them, so that they can have that support both inside and outside the classroom. If parents have concerns about their students' experiences, there's multiple ways that you can get support. We can support you directly as a parent, of course, and I know that I've talked with many parents from small issues to large issues. We are very approachable, very available to communicate with parents. But I'd say probably the strongest way or the best way to empower you to assist your student in their experience is really to encourage your student, your son or daughter, to come talk with a professional staff member. Many of us are available. I have an open door policy. If a student wants to come talk with me, I'm more than willing to chat with them. I know sometimes I'll hear from parents, well, that's kind of tough for a first-year student to do, a freshman to do, and I understand that. Some students are more assertive than others. Some are able to walk into somebody's office and sit down and tell them what's on their mind. Others, maybe they can't do that. This is why we have resident assistants, essentially students that are living with students that are student leaders, so we encourage them to reach out to the students. They also have their elected student government that they can go to. I meet with the ASUC student government about once a semester to talk with them about concerns that they have, either related to housing or otherwise. So there's multiple avenues by which students as well as parents can have their concerns addressed. We've had, as you know, this has been a very interesting time throughout our nation, not just on our college campus. One of the things that I'm most excited about, or one of the things that keeps me going as a professional working in higher education, is working at a place like Berkeley. The fact that we have a very dynamic, strong culture here. We've had lots of students, if you've been watching what's been happening on not only our campus, but many campuses across our nation, or even talking to your own students. We've had lots of students that have been reacting to the outcome of the election, regardless of their political leaning. Part of our job is to try to encourage students to express themselves. We want students to talk about what it means to live in our great nation and experience the things that they've been experiencing. We've tried to create safe spaces for students by which they can come together and talk about how they've been impacted personally through this recent election. This is part of the educational experience. It's something that's really important to our campus. We've had statements go out from the UC president as well as the UC chancellors expressing our concern and our support for students, regardless, again, of what their political affiliation might be, regardless of how concerned or how engaged they've been in this recent election. And it's something that's really important for our campus. We will continue to embrace the fact that we want students to feel like they are in a safe location to be able to express their opinions, ask questions, engage with each other, and try to become citizens of the world, which is part of what our intended outcomes are for them as students. Another question from Facebook, will the school be increasing security in light of recent robberies and hate crimes around the nation? I'd say one of the things that we are most concerned about is safety and security. We talk about this from day one when students move into the residence halls. We have a very active UCPD department. In fact, I think one of your future guests is going to be Margot Bennett, who is our chief of police. I certainly encourage you to maybe connect when she is on this broadcast as well. She's a very seasoned leader in policing and has lots of great ideas, and her team is a very active team. So far, we have found that if we're continuing the things that we have been doing with our students, that we should be able to continue to provide a safe campus. We continue to encourage students to do things like use Bear Walk, which is a free walk service that's available till early in the morning. Each morning they can call UCPD to request an escort if they're coming back from the library late at night. We encourage students to do some of the things that each of us would do in order to be safe. Walk in well-lit areas. Make sure that you're not traveling by yourself late at night. These are just things that we encourage students to do so they can take responsibility for their own safety. Another question from Facebook from Eugene. Is it common for students living off campus to be on a campus meal plan? It is common for students to be on a campus meal plan. We actually sell about 5,000 off-campus meal plans for not only just students, but faculty and staff. They find that being able to come and eat in Crossroads or Cafe 3 or up at Foothill is something that's of great value to them. We have an all-you-can-eat plan, so folks will come in and they can take a lunch to go through our Choose to Reuse program, where you bring in a plastic container, exchange it for a new plastic container. You can fill it up, get a salad, get a sandwich, whatever you want to make for yourself, and then take it with you to class or take it back to your office. So it is a very popular service that we do offer. Many of our students that move off campus that don't want to necessarily learn how to cook or don't have time to cook, they can use one of our off-campus meal plans. So again, we're close to the end of our time. I want to thank you for joining us. It's been a real pleasure for me to be able to answer questions from you. I just want you to know again that our primary mission in Student Affairs is to make sure that your students can be successful. We're here to support you. If you have specific questions or concerns, you can certainly post those to Facebook. And I know David, whom you met at the beginning of this broadcast, will make sure that that gets routed to the right person, and we'll answer those questions for you and follow up as needed. Again, thank you. Our students have 11 days of class left before the semester is over, so please encourage them to end the semester with a bang. Thank you.